Good morning, pet lovers. So today, hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching later if you're coming on later. Today I'm going to talk about catnip because I am a huge fan of growing your own catnip, and I've made multiple videos on it and written some blogs, and now, believe it or not, is the time to be planting catnip inside if you want to be transferring it out to your gardens. You can always have catnip though. I grow catnip in my house year round and we give it out to our clients. I dry it myself. So catnip you want to, I've got my packet of catnip seeds because I have yet to reach the point where I'm going to dry out my own catnip seeds to plant the following year. Maybe I'll do that this year. I'll have to see at the end of the season if I'm going to do that. So, things to know about catnip. If you're going to be planting it inside to get it started for your gardens, it's about 6 to 8 weeks early. So, we're right about the right time that you want to be planting. So, I'm going to try, this year I'm going to try pea pots. I have not done that before. Normally, last year I actually or 2 years ago, I actually just went and got sprigs from, Petco, and I ended up it exploded and grew so big that I just planted off of cuttings from that. Then my husband and I had doesn't matter. He killed my catnip except for one little bit. So I don't have enough to grow an entire flower bed off of this year. So I'm gonna plant seeds, which is great because this gives me a new chance to try this. So apparently with these guys, you just put them on the top of the dirt and let them grow. Things I will tell you about catnip and growing catnip, whether it's inside or outside, is they need a lot of sun. So put them somewhere very sunny. I keep mine when in the house in either a east or south facing window, and it does really well there. And it likes a lot of water. I actually water my catnip at least twice a day, or twice a day. No, not twice a day. Twice a week. So water your catnip, keep it moist. It likes to be moist. It doesn't like to be dry, and it doesn't like to be soaked. So make sure you keep it moist. This is easier outside than inside. But it's a very forgiving plant, which is why it's astounding that we managed to kill a giant pot of it. And it grows fast. So be ready for that. These things are getting ready, so I'm gonna put some seeds in there. Apparently, so for me outside, catnip does a few different things. One, it's not only great for your cat, and I think on Pinterest I had a funny picture go up about cats gathering around catnip that was planted outside. So cats love it. They love it fresh. It makes them very happy, and so I love using fresh catnip. And so I decided I'm actually going to plant a bed in the front of my house and a bed in the back of my house this year. I wanted to do the back of my house because I have a pretty big bed out there that I can plant along the side of my house. That is someone I'm calling. So we've got a pretty big bed on the side of my house that I'm going to plant, and then I can use it to dry. But I'm also going to plant a bed in the front of my house for neighborhood cats if they want to come over. Not that cats should be outdoors. Cats should not be outdoors. But I do have some outdoor cats in my neighborhood. So I'm going to plant it out in the front where my dog won't antagonize them and make them crazy. For those of you who have either mice or bug problems, catnip is also fantastic at getting rid of pests. So people who have things like chicken coops a lot of times plant it because then you can just put it out around. You can either plant it around your chicken coop, or you can use the leaves and spread them around your chicken coop or in your chicken coop. And it's good for getting rid of pests and animals around there. So that's something to keep in mind. It's really a multi-purpose with an herb. And as the season gets shorter, all you have to do, and all I'm going to do this year, is I'm going to just take some clippings and put them, so you take some, I usually take clippings about 6 inches long or so, and I split the end, the stem, and put it in water for a week or two, and then I just put it in dirt, and it's great, and it goes from there. So it's very hardy, so I'll have a couple indoor planter boxes of it when the season ends, but then through the summer, of course, it will be outside. So It does have these tiny little itty bitty seeds. You probably can't even, oh, maybe I can show. Look at little itty bitty seeds. So my peat's pretty good. My little peat pots are pretty good. They're expanded now, mostly. I'll have to get a little bit of water for a couple more of them. But you just drop seeds in there and then keep them moist. And that's pretty much it for catnip. And then when it comes time to put them outside, I'm just gonna pop them down in the dirt and let them grow. Like I said, they grow like crazy. And the only thing that you need to know is put them somewhere with a lot of sun and keep them moist. And if you do that, you will have so much catnip and your cat will love you. Your neighborhood cats will love you if you plant it somewhere that they can get to. And let's see, so for drying, I actually tested 2 methods of drying, and I found, so the 2 methods are you can either use a dehydrator or you can hang them like normal herbs. So you see, if you're not this type of person, you can see pictures of like herb racks that drying herbs. Yeah. So I tried both. I thought I'd like the dehydrator more because I make things in my dehydrator pretty regularly. So I tried doing that. It took a really long time, and I had to, made my house smell nice because catnip smells nice. So but I had to run it for, I think, like a good 24, 48 hours, maybe longer. And when I do that, I cut all of the leaves off the stems. And that just took way more time than I wanted. That was just, I'm not big on things that are time intensive, and that was just way too long for me. So then I tried doing an hanging. And when I'm hanging, I cut off sections, probably a good 8 inches, maybe a foot long, and tie them together and then hang them somewhere dark. And with herbs, if you don't know this, you always want to do somewhere dark because otherwise they lose their potency. So I hang them in my laundry room in the basement, and after a couple weeks, they're all dry. I don't have to touch them, don't have to do anything with them. And then at that point, I just put them in jars. So you really actually don't want to break them up and crinkle them. So when we get catnip, it's already all crinkly. It's in little pieces, and that makes it lose its potency. So you actually don't want to do that until you're using it for your cat or someone else's cat or for some other purpose. So you're going to leave them whole. So I actually just put them in either Ziploc baggies or mason jars, and then I don't crinkle them up until I'm going to actually be giving them to a cat or using them for a purpose. So you keep them dry, keep them intact until that's done. And then what else to know about catnip? Those are the major things. Got a few people watching. If anybody has questions about catnip, let me know. It is a great thing to be growing this time of year, and it's just so low maintenance. Other than needing watering, it's super low maintenance, and it just blossoms, and it's got so many benefits. And if you have cats, they'll love you. You just give it to them fresh. And cats don't like overdose on catnip. They can have as much catnip as they want it. In fact, originally when I got catnip plants, I had 3 catnip plants, and I put them in a giant pot. This was in the middle of winter. And at the time, this was like a year or 2 ago, so my cat was already really old. And as you guys know, my cat no longer moves around my house. But at the time, she was somewhat mobile, so she would move around the house. But it was in this huge pot. I mean, I had it set on the ground, but I didn't think she'd climb into it because it was way taller than she was. And one night, we woke up to hissing and screaming sounds, and I said, I don't think it's her, it's gotta be a neighbor cat, but let's go check anyway. So we went to check, and she had crawled into this giant pot, and the pot was in front of our sliding glass door. So she had gotten herself a little happy high on catnip, and then was watching herself in the door and thought it was another cat and was fighting with the other cat on the other side. Her own reflection. So she was hissing and spitting and then yowling at this cat on the other side of the glass. So that was her. That was pretty great. So that evening she actually killed 2 of my original 3 catnip plants. So everything I have has been growing since then based on this one catnip plant that we had left. And if anybody saw it last year when I showed it on camera, it was massive. I mean, it was easily 3 feet across, and it came out of this one little pot, and it was everywhere. It took up a good corner of our dining room. So, because our dining room is right up against our sliding glass door. So, So this year I'll get this going, and I will have to show you guys in the next couple weeks how they are sprouting and then remind you. But if you are thinking about planting catnip and you want to get it started indoors, now is the time, because we're about we're end of March now, so all of April, all of May. This would get you planting it outside sometime in like late May, early June. So you definitely want to get on that. So get going, get it going, and it'll do well inside your house until you have a time to plant it outside. So get it started. Or if you live here locally and you want some catnip sprouts from me, just go ahead and let me know as it gets going. I'll have mine growing, and I am happy to make you cuttings and you can just work off of mine. There's no sense in all of us going and buying $4 catnip plants from Petco. So if you want some, let me know. It's super great. Your cat will love you. You can have all your own catnip and you don't have to do anything about it. So I'd love to hear your guys' questions, or if you have any comments, let me know. If you want to talk about anything particular tomorrow. Otherwise, say hi to your pets from us, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye.